Okay, welcome everyone, and welcome to your dog. Hi, Teresa.
There's all kinds of things coming back to life, like rabbits and moles, and I don't know what else is out there. So I'm sorry.
That's okay. Listen, your dog will get my dog, and then they'll end up having a life, just the two of them, and we'll go off and do something else.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so today I wanted to talk about imposter syndrome. And the reason why I primarily chose this topic is because there is a feed in the Interior Design Business Forum, one of my groups, where what was your biggest struggle in your business? I think might have been the question. And a lot of people said imposter syndrome. And I so get it. So when I started thinking about speaking on imposter syndrome, I realized that this is probably, and I talk to you guys all the time, my team, about this, like, what exactly do I do for people? And I do a lot of things for people, right? I help them with their ladder of services and their pricing, but process and marketing and ideal client profiles and business models and all that stuff, right? All that is the gears that run your business.
Mm-hmm.
But at the head of your business is your mind, right? And when I really look at what I do for people, it is giving them the confidence to do all those other things. And often what comes up, really, I'm going to say 8 out of 10 times at some point during the coaching, whether it's a group or individual, is this imposter syndrome. And when I saw that post, I thought, it's time to talk about imposter syndrome. And we could talk about this for hours, but I'm going to try to summarize. One, people have heard imposter syndrome over and over again, but do you actually know what it is? So I pulled the definition, and I think we can all describe when we've had moments of it, but the true definition is an internal belief that you are not good enough for something you're doing, right? Might be, I don't feel good enough. I may not be good enough to be a mother. It might be, I'm not good enough to be a father or parent. I'm not good enough to run a business. I don't know enough. I'm never going to know enough. And I can't believe people are paying me for doing this, right? Have you ever suffered from this, Teresa?
Oh my gosh, I have suffered from this many times. And it's still, even though I feel like I've kind of got it in perspective, it still creeps in. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, I had a brief moment where I was like, what am I doing? And why am I doing this? And, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I help a lot of people and I love the work that I'm doing and I'm good at it. But I had to like kind of have a talking with myself to remind myself that I am good at what I do. So it still creeps in. It still sneaks in.
It definitely sneaks in. And I know that in this world of always looking at other people and how do they do it, and they look like it's so easy for them, guess what? Take your social media blinders off and realize that what you're seeing that's put out in the public is going to be the best foot forward for most people. But I even suffer from imposter syndrome, right? And when I was writing the book, I'm like, I'm not a writer. What am I doing? No one's going to want this. It's simple. It's this, right? All kinds of insecurities came rising up. And I'm like, wait, I haven't felt this in a while. Like, why am I feeling it now?
Yes. Because you're up leveling, because you're getting to that next stage. And that next stage is scary sometimes. But it's exactly where you were supposed to go. And the success of your book launch is proof of that.
Yes, but you said it perfectly, and this applies to everyone. When you are getting ready to up level, your brain and your body are going to try to retreat into its safe zone and what you've always done before. And what comes up often is this feeling like I'm not good enough to do this. They're going to find out that I'm a fake. They're going to find out there's other people who know more than me, right? And this happens whether you are a coach, an interior designer, a web designer, a social media marketer. It doesn't matter if you're working as an executive in a company. You may sit in a boardroom and sit there and go, everyone knows more than me. And I will tell you, when I was in my 20s and I was working at a bank in a mortgage servicing department, the first time I went to a big boardroom meeting, I had no idea what the senior vice president was talking about. I'm like, am I the only one? Like, I must be the only one who doesn't understand. And then I remembered ask the question. It's never a dumb question. And I raised my hand and I asked a question at the board, at the meeting. And after the meeting, everyone came up to me, literally everyone who was in the meeting. Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked that question because I didn't know the answer either, but I was too afraid to ask, right? And I thought, okay, so I was feeling this imposter syndrome. I'm in this room. I'm supposed to be this certain knowledge level, yet I'm not. And it was hard to break out, right? So why does imposter syndrome happen? There's so many reasons.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons is just natural when we're growing up. There are some things we get a lot of mixed messages, right? There's some things we do well, we get praise for. Then there's other things you get criticized for. And then you're getting praise, and then you're getting criticized, and you're getting praise, and then you're like, you should be doing that better. And that mixed message as we're growing up, and it doesn't mean your parents are bad parents, it happens in schools and everything.
Right.
That insidious doubt that someone else puts in your brain at a very young age then becomes how you judge yourself. And right, and I will add to it, if you tend to be a judgmental person of other people, you might suffer even more from imposter syndrome.
Absolutely. I grew up in a very judgmental environment. I mean, it was a loving environment, but everybody was so worried about not being perfect, not being good enough, that they were constantly criticizing, oh, you need to be better. You need to be better. You need to be better, because they were reflecting what they felt inside. And it takes a lot to get over that. And one of the interesting things too is what is considered my strengths now as a business owner, and going through like the strengths finder even. Those were my weaknesses that people criticize me for. But it's tough. You have to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's the hard part is that if you're a perfectionist, you tend to suffer from imposter syndrome even more, right? If you're a naturally smart person, naturally, like you never really had to work hard at it, or something comes natural to you, often you'll think, well, should I have worked harder for this? If you grew up with siblings that did something better than you, and now you're doing it better than them, perhaps, but you're thinking, maybe I'm not doing it well enough, right? It runs.
It's that comparison, comparing ourselves to others all the time in everything that we do, that I really think just nails us and drops us to the floor in that imposter syndrome.
100%. And that's where I wanted to give some tips today, because I realized that this is one of the primary things I help people get over the hump with. And when I really look at how do the people who coach with me or in my groups get over that hump? And really, the number one thing that I observe is that having someone who believes in them and having a group of people that you surround yourself with, my other clients, they drive each other up to the next level, and they say, hey, I feel the same way. And just knowing you're not alone helps calm the feeling, right? So
absolutely,
that's number one. So surround yourself with a good support system. Get someone who says, okay, maybe you didn't do that perfectly, but this is how we can do it next time. And this is what you did do great. So focus on the positive.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
And you said something that was absolutely key, and it's on my list. Stop comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
We're all on a different journey. It's all a different path.
Well, and it's so easy to look at the social media thing. We're like, oh my God, she has got it all figured out. No, I mean, when you look behind the scenes, they really don't have it all figured out. They have the same doubts and stresses and worries that all of us do, maybe at a different level because they've been at it longer. But
yes, at a different level.
Not perfect.
Exactly. No one's perfect. And at a different level and about different things, right? So my imposter syndrome may be about one thing, yours might be about another. But when we're in a group together, which is the beauty of my team meets on a weekly basis, but also my clients, is you go that, okay, I'm okay. I'm not abnormal. And remember that you need to, let me actually give the tips because I wrote them down, right? So You have to reprogram the way you feel about yourself.
Mhm.
And that takes effort, just like everything else in your life, right? And I know that people go, "Oh, another thing I have to put effort towards." But yes, nothing improves without some sort of effort on your part, right? A ball does not roll unless you push it,
Exactly.
right?
Well,
So
and I think this is one of those places things will start to resolve themselves when you focus on this one. So you don't even have to do near as much because you're focusing on this. Yeah.
that's right, right. So thinking about reprogramming the way you feel about yourself. Know you're not alone. That's tip number 2, which we talked about already, because it's true. And I think the statistic on one of the websites was 9 to 82% of people experience imposter syndrome about something in their life. That's a high percentage. And women definitely have a larger percent of that. Here's another thing you can do. Number 3, own your achievements. It was interesting to me, my business manager, Erica, you know her, she said, "Have you journaled about the success of the book rollout?" And I'm like, no. Like, I know. I know. I just sort of, okay, done. Next.
Next thing. Yep.
And I'm like, she's right. And this is what I teach other people to do. Yet, the shoemaker without shoes. Like, you've done so much in the past year. Recognize it, own it,
Yep.
and acknowledge it and reward yourself for it. Just by thanking yourself for the effort you've made and for the improvements. There's always more to learn and more to do. That's life. If you didn't have more to learn and more to do, you wouldn't be here on this earth anymore.
Yeah.
Right? That's when that ends.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, number 4 is know the value you provide. How do you do that? I go back to the letters I get from clients. I just got one the other day, right? You guys do the same. You have testimonials. You get messages. Thank you so much. I couldn't have done this without you. You've been such a help. Or in my case now, my business is finally more profitable than ever before. Thank you, right? And I have to go back and read those and go, yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I'm helping tons of people, right? You have to find your testimonials, your satisfied customers, your wins out of each day and out of each week. And then number 5, which I loved the post in the group, because breaking the silence about imposter syndrome is key.
Yeah.
Right? Have you ever gone to a women's networking event and everyone's talking about this?
I have not, but oftentimes I'll see once one person breaks the silence, all the other women almost like sigh with relief. They're like, "Oh my God, me too." Because we start off, we're like, no, we have to put that persona of perfect. We have everything together. We're all put together. We do everything right. And somebody's like, "I'm not. I am struggling and I'm having an awful time this month." And then everybody else is like, "Oh my gosh, we've been there," or "I'm there right now," or yeah, yeah, breaking the silence is key, because
Breaking the silence with yourself and with others,
yes.
right? Reach out. I mean, I love this post because everyone's like, "Me too. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I feel it too," right? But here's the thing. If you stop comparing yourself to others and you actually start going, "Why do I feel imposter syndrome? What can I do to slowly chip away at it?" And what happens with imposter syndrome is it's really hand in hand with confidence. It's hand in hand with confidence.
Wow.
You may feel it for, let's say, a month at a time right now. I don't feel good enough. I'm not good enough at what I do, and I can't believe people are paying me for this, or I could have done it better and I didn't, and dwelling on that. And once you start actually taking the steps to resolve your imposter syndrome, instead of feeling it for a month, you'll start saying you'll have 3 weeks before you're snapping out of it. Then it'll be 2 weeks till you're snapping out of it. Then it'll be a week, and then a month. And then 2 days. And over time, if you start focusing on reprogramming yourself, you will actually see the amount of time that your brain takes that left turn down the scary, "I'm not good enough" train. You'll be able to turn it around faster because you have practiced that muscle of reprogramming and refocusing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, a couple weeks ago, I started struggling with this, but it was minutes. I mean, like I sat there maybe. And then I was like, wait a minute, where is this coming from? This is not who I am. This is not my world. Like, I am really good at what I do. And I was able to quickly turn it around, call a girlfriend. She's like, absolutely. And then I was out and doing what I do best and doing it well. So
Exactly. It's exactly. So you did the perfect thing. You called a friend
mm-hmm.
and you voiced it. She readjusted by pointing out to you the things that you are so phenomenal at. And you have testimonials from my clients alone of how fabulous their websites have come out. So it's not always logical. So it's hard to logic through imposter syndrome because it's so much more of an emotional issue. But once you put the support system in place, whether it be a coach, a peer group, and that you can tap into it on a regular basis and reprogram your brain to focus on the positive things about yourself and the positive things you do for your client, and then add to it the knowledge you need to feel less like an imposter, right? Because sometimes it is learning you have to do. So anyway, that is basically it in a nutshell, right? It's the belief that you're not good enough. It happens over time based on many different factors, often the way we grew up in our younger days, and it has nothing to do whether your parents were good parents or not. It's just the normal conversation in society today. You're good at some things, you're not good at others. Watching everyone else seem like they do so fantastic out in their public persona. Everyone's got a great life.
Being
right?
compared to siblings, to classmates, to every cousins, whatever, always being compared to other people. Yeah.
Right.
And all
Right.
accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So if you suffer from imposter syndrome, go back and listen from the beginning because you can reprogram the way you feel about yourself. Know that you're not alone. It's important to focus on your achievements and know your value by going back and looking at what you've done for other people. Break the silence, talk about imposter syndrome like we're doing today, and stop comparing yourself to others, or at least others' public persona. Or even their private persona. If you're sitting there going, yeah, but they still have a fabulous life. I see their life is fabulous and mine is not. You know what? Probably not the case as much as you think.
Or not.
Yeah, because you know what? I remember there was one girlfriend who just always had just the fabulous life. Fabulous life. Everything was fabulous. All the time fabulous. And we used to say, like, can things really be that fabulous for her? And no, you know what? There were things in her life that were not so fabulous, but what was amazing about her is she chose to always look at the positive. And that's what we have control over, right? What we choose to focus on.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so all right, that is Wisdom Wednesday. I have lived 56 years and I know that most of people I know have suffered from imposter syndrome at some point in their life. And without focusing on reprogramming yourself, it will often be something that comes up way too often. So if that's your struggle, maybe it's time to focus on that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you know where to find me if you need coaching to make your business more profitable, because I'm not an imposter. I'm actually really good at this. And if you need your website reviewed and redone, reach out to Teresa. She's got all kinds of trainings that are for free for you DIYers. And if you just want to get it done, this is your lady.
All right.
Okay. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Go have a great Wednesday, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Teresa. Thank you.